All right, guys, what's up? It's Ryan. I'm with Josh. We're doing a round one EnduroCross post-race show, talking a little bit what went down and what we saw as being outsiders at round one. Max really wanted this to happen. We're doing it on his platform because he wanted it to happen. But as a competitor, like, he can't be talking to you guys. He can't be talking to the competition. He's trying to fucking smoke you guys right now. So as his boys and kind of outsiders that are there, we got with Josh, and we're going to talk about it. So, Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm really stoked to be back. I didn't really go to EnduroCross last season. I went to the final round. And before that, I'd been cruising with Talking Mountain Ranch crew, just helping them out to be there and whatnot. And a lot of good emotions for me, especially being back there as Colton's mechanic. That's pretty special because that's like the introduction of what really got me my foot in the door in the dirt bike industry. Was hopping on the wave of Haker becoming a champion eventually and being there with him through the process. So stoked to be back, man.
That's sick. Yep. As many people know, you're the man still are the man, but was the man at Husky KTM for a while, doing a lot of development and stuff with them. So super cool. And I know you're not the type of guy to be biased since you're kind of with Colton's mechanic now. So perfect guy to do this with.
Yeah, I actually spend more time with the rest of the competition than I even do with Haker. He called me up about a week and a half before the first round and said, "Hey, you want to go to the races with me?" And I was like, "Well, sounds pretty fun. Let's do it." So,
So
anyways, these guys are my race family across the board. I spend the whole year with them more than I do most of my blood family members.
Yep. I guess first question I had for you, we'll make this quick because I don't want it to be all about as much as everyone would want it to be about you. It's about the racing. But how gnarly was it? You're so used to the Austrian bikes. How was it getting a call week and a half to go wrench on a Japanese Cowie?
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out the words to explain the feeling, like because obviously I'm with a guy that knows he can win still, wants to win, that's his plan, and I have complete confidence in helping him accomplish that. But I haven't worked on a Cowie since I had one in 2012, and things are a lot different. And taking some time with training shows you the weak points and stuff. And with only having a week and a half or 2 weeks of hanging out with him while he's training and stuff, there's a lot of things I still wanted to do and accomplish to feel confident that I was going to be all that I could be for him. One round down, I feel way better now. We survived a whole day and night of EnduroCross racing, and really happy with how comfortable he is on the bike. And I'll get that confidence that I have with the Austrian bikes.
I heard you talking to Destry that you even saw a couple things on Cooper's bike you got some ideas about and that you can kind of take from his and add to Colton's maybe.
Yeah, when there's like things that I find, I'm like, well, how did they make this stronger or protect this? I want to just call up Cooper and Anthony Johnson. So it was a really good opportunity for me to look at their bikes this weekend before racing and get some ideas of what I could do in our week off here to help them get ready for the next one, or whether mostly it's just protection stuff. And Endurocross is pretty brutal on the bikes, especially the lower half of them. And then anytime you lay them down in the rocks, you want to make sure that anything that's vulnerable is going to be protected. And there's a lot of products for that, but there's also a lot of customization that I'd like to do as well.
Right on. So I guess since we're talking about the Cowies right now, did I hear Cooper's running 1253 gearing to stay in second gear?
Yeah, that's what I understand. Colton's on the opposite end of that, started the night running a higher gearing to be able to stay in first gear, because it's just sounds like on Cooper's end of things, he's right on the limit of having enough torque to make second gear work. Colton has plenty of torque when he's in first gear, but it's revving out in the higher RPMs and almost needing to shift up there. So it's a balance with that stock Cowie transmission that both the guys are trying to find a happy medium on.
So Colton's staying in first gear and Cooper's trying to stay consistent with kind of what he knows in the past and stay in second gear.
Yeah, we saw it last weekend. It was just on the starts alone, I think Cooper being able to start in second gear, Colton being able to start in first gear was pulling Cooper a little bit ahead of Colton in the starts. And with that first gear torque, it's a lot easier to get a lot of tire spin behind the gate and down the straightaway. And it's a sacrifice that Colton's making to have torque when it comes to riding the matrix or riding the rock sections and stuff. But dude, it's a hard sacrifice to make when the competition is so deep right now, and starts are going to play a big role.
For sure. where do you even get a 53 tooth sprocket? I guess they make them and they fit and everything. I'm sure you got to cut
Yeah, a
the
lot of
chain guide a little
manufacturers
bit.
make them. It depends on how if your axle is pretty far forward, then you'll have to cut that chain block out, but if you, have a nice neutral position with your rear axle in the middle of your swing arm slot, then you should be fine, but I know Renthal's making 53s, Dirt Tricks is making 53s, I've seen them out there.
So I guess, I mean, everyone's pretty much running a 52 in the back, other than Cooper, but standard seems like 52 is pretty standard. Isn't that a pretty big sprocket for endurocross, like running through rocks? I guess it's very vulnerable, but it's just the gearing that those guys need to be able to pull off the hits they do.
Yeah, there's clearance. That's always something to think about. If you could drop down a tooth, clearance is the benefit that you'd gain. But I think more importantly is how your transmission's working and how your gearing's working for you on the track than the clearance. That's something we can counter with a high quality sprocket and a nice chain guide. The chain guide essentially hangs a little bit lower, but definitely in front of it, and that's protected it from hitting those rocks. And it's not even like I feel like Colton doesn't hit the rocks until he falls off his line because most of the time he stays on top of the rocks. Like I've been to endurocross races with him before, where it's like every single lap you see him hitting the same rock. But if um if it's going good and he's staying up on top like they want to, then that thing stays pretty protected.
Makes sense. It is a 6 minute moto, not like a 2 hour hot enduro where anything could happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
All
for
right,
sure.
so let's get in with it. We'll start with hot laps or expert main. What was first?
Practice. I mean,
Practice.
just a
Oh
little
yeah.
bit to mention on practice. I think practice is worth mentioning on the first round because these guys are their nerves. I feel like I could see the nerves in the entire top 10, like kind of getting jacked. Like these guys were sitting in the arena watching the track during the day program more than they will later in the year when they become a little more relaxed. Nerves were high. I could see it in practice. You see Tristan kind of lost his cool in the second practice. Things were going good, and that snowballed on him. Same thing for Ryder. Luckily, these guys are both in their own way champions and can get it together for race time. But saw those nerves pretty much running all the way through the first main. After that, I felt like things started kind of moving as they normally would. But Johnny looked so good in practice, obviously all night.
Oh
But
yeah.
I would argue he was the most comfortable looking guy right out of the gate. I was really pumped to see that Colton could go throw out a pretty fast lap on his first time on the track when he did the GoPro lap.
Yeah, that was pretty sick. I was watching him and you guys get ready for that, and I was thinking to myself, that's got to be nervous. Like he's expected to go out onto the track that he's never ridden before and put a smoker down like as like a media lap kind of thing. Like there's a lot of risk in that.
Yeah. There's that side of it, and then the other side is that you got an opportunity to do at least two more laps than everybody else on the practice, to get ready. In fact, that was an opportunity for him to say, hey, go 2 clicks, step around the fork. So that's just like one thing that one step in advance. But yes, I'm with you that there is a pressure to be able to go out there. Everybody's already watching you. They want to see how it goes. They're standing there behind the gate, ready to go out to walk the track, and
Well,
they're getting a little bit of intel just watching you ride it for the first time.
and plus, all those top guys, especially Colton's, like you're trying to be the man of practice. Like Colton's definitely trying to like lay down the standard of like this is the expectation. This is where I'm at. Like try to catch up type of thing. Like they're totally trying to kind of one up each other. It seems like in practice and like just show their dominance.
Again, first round of the year, like there's this vibe, and like everybody's trying to figure out where they settle in the field and
Did I do
show
enough?
that they're yes for
Did I do
sure.
enough on the off season? I know Max has been telling me he's been running a bunch and that's been helping and he's been riding a lot, but he wasn't able to really ride as much as like a lot of people. So he was at 6 days. Like me and him were talking like Johnny pretty much races year round since he does the super enduros. So that's a big advantage, like doing a whole nother series pretty much of the same thing. That's got to just keep him sharp all year long. I know a lot of the boys start riding endurocross after TKO ends, like up in Idaho, like last summer, they all started riding. So Max didn't get much time in. He was kind of on a smaller track in Idaho Falls this summer too. So I was a little like, oh, like I wonder how that's gonna do. Like he didn't really go out to Chocolate Mountain. Or up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho for those tracks. I'm sure he ripped the track in Arizona. So I was a little weary of how he'd stack up. And then after seeing the first practice, he was kind of going a little slower, letting his diesel get fired up. So I was like, oh fuck, like I hope Max isn't off the pace. Like it's too early to tell, but it was enough for me to kind of be alarmed that he might have been off the pace a little bit of the other guys, just because he was
Yeah,
trying to section for section. By practice 2, he was connecting everything and definitely was looking pretty good.
yeah, it's crazy how in touch we are with all this. We're in communication with all the guys that are racing the series. We know where they're at. We're seeing it on their Instagram, their YouTubes and stuff. And it's like, whose program is what are they working on? You know, I could say that Max is a guy that was out there training. He was working on the fundamentals. He was putting in laps. Just he has enough experience to know what to expect. But the weak point may have been, like you said, he wasn't down there at Chalco Mountain Ranch doing motos with like 8 dudes that are going to
His
be in his main
competitors.
event potentially. Yeah, which is a big advantage. But you know, on the other hand, like I said, he was up there working on his fitness, working on the fundamentals. You know, Colton was over here with the brand new bike, working on testing, developing this new machine. You know, he hasn't been on in a very long time. I know Ryder was kind of all over the place. He did some testing, he did some racing, get some gate drops. That's sick. Stone was racing the local arena crosses. I think that's huge, getting gate drops in intense
Yeah.
formats. And arena cross is a really good way to cross train. Tim's locked in, dude. He's at like the prime of his career, and he knows what it takes. He's got enough experience for that now. He's super fit,
Got all the
trains.
support needed.
Yes. And, you know, Cody, same thing, new bike. Similar thing as Colton, new bike, but maybe he'd actually been racing all year. So I almost felt like Cody would have had an edge coming into this round than Haker because he's been on the bike, riding a ton. But, you know, it was a different bike that he raced all year. So that's a whole another chapter in Cody's story as well.
Yeah, I mean, he raced a 250F at Silver Kings, so he's been familiar on that chassis, and he might have done it. I think he raced it for that Pueblo, that Pueblo.
Yep, Club Locos.
So you know, he's been on that frame, and he's been on the 4-stroke a little bit, like definitely more than Colton.
Yeah.
Maybe didn't ride as much EnduroCross because Cody doesn't really have a track up in Colorado. It seems like he's got to kind of drive or make a trip somewhere to go train. Like I
Yeah,
think
I
him
think he's
and
got
Riley.
something small, but not
Yeah.
on the level that the other boys are working with, whether it's North Idaho, Arizona, Southern Idaho.
Yeah. It seems like him and Riley just have like a little couple sticks lined up at the moto track or something.
Yeah, that's tough part of being one of the veterans in the class. You got so many things going on, plus you got your own program that you're writing up for yourself and making this up. You know, Gators busy working for us in the U.S. Hard Enduros, and you know
Yeah.
Cody gets him a little bit of two-stroke time all year, and then it's hurry up and do some endurocross. Cody went out and did a couple of East Coast Hard Enduros, or at least one that most of the other guys didn't do. So,
Super sick. Yeah.
but
Flynn's been racing
yeah,
those. Oh, we didn't talk about it. Flynn won't be at round 2 and 3 because he'll be at the Michigan or the Pennsylvania Hard Enduro. Try to wrapping up
well,
that, right?
I think he's gonna at least do one night there, and then fly out to Pennsylvania
Oh, wow.
on Saturday because it's a Sunday race only for the PA race. Which is where I'll be next weekend. So
Holy
sorry I
smoke.
miss you, EnduroCross. I'm already having a little FOMO. But I'll be back in Redmond. So.
Damn. Do you think it's even worth it for James to like do the second round of EnduroCross? Like for the time it takes to go race Friday, hop on a plane to the East Coast to go race like a pretty important hard enduro. Like it just seems like a lot. I mean, it's not like he's like I hate to say it, but it's not like he's going to be in the hunt for the championship for EnduroCross. Like his strong suit is definitely hard enduro.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, but I don't think it'll knock a big enough percentage off of James's performance on Sunday in Pennsylvania, considering that I mean, if he was leaving Friday night to race on Saturday morning, it'd be a little different. But if he's just
Mhm.
taking off one full day for travel, he'll still get a good night's sleep, and the bike will be ready, waiting there for him. He's got a good support group around him and stuff, and I think maybe it'll knock off 69% of his performance instead of 69%. So.
Mhm. Yeah, it's makes sense. He's definitely the guy for it. All these dudes are so good at traveling and being prepared when they need to be.
Yeah, yeah. So I think he'll be all right.
Anything else in practice you noticed?
No, no. I just kind of wanted to, that was the kickoff.
Tristan's
Everybody's nerves
Tristan.
and he crashed in that second moto. That's what or
No,
that second practice.
Yeah, big crash in moto in practice too.
Yeah, okay. I know Tristan had pulled over from the sidelines. I was sitting there next to Nigel and Saw him roll in, doing a little adjustment, next lap in, still came back to Nigel to get a little adjustment. Ryder seemed to not be able to get something together on his bike on that second practice either. But, I think it was a second practice for Ryder. But Tristan put down a 37, I'm pretty sure, in the
In the
first practice, as well as Johnny.
Yep.
So that was by far the best lap times of the night. That was also Johnny's hot lap time. And so he had the speed, he had the pace. I don't know what he did for the second practice. Maybe he changed suspension or something. I did see some work going on.
I think they did a bunch of stuff after practice 2. So practice 2 happened. He had a big OTB and couldn't put down a lap. Like he was mid pack, or I thought he said like towards the end of practice 2. And
Yeah, he
went
was
back.
mid pack all practice until it was done, and then he was last.
Yep. Yeah. Went back to the hotel, like was kind of spinning for a little bit. And I think they changed a bunch of stuff. Like he was telling me in an interview, like just like classic kind of freak out, change the suspension, change this, change that. And Nigel's back there trying to, I don't know what they did, but he
They always
might
keep
have,
us out of the old stuff. You always do, man.
I think, I
This
don't
is
know what he did, but
what your
he
guys do.
probably just put on whatever was on the day
He
before,
put on
right?
the old setting from the backup bike.
But he said it was just enough for him to like it during a hot lap, and for the first race, obviously he won that, so he was feeling good. So pretty classic robot fashion form to bounce back from a bad practice to winning the first moto.
Yeah, and then the rest of it was pretty good. I think Colton was second in that last practice, and everybody else kind of filed in where we expect them to. Max, I think, pulling the top 5, which is awesome, and then we rolled into the expert main event to after the opening ceremonies, and that
Which
was
looked like,
as expected. Action.
dude, I thought that was the main event. I thought that was Moto 1 for like the first 2 minutes, it seemed like.
Stacked field in there, and all these guys, it is their LCQ because they've all had a chance to qualify through the day program, and they were taking, I believe, 6 out of that LCQ into the main event. So guys that would be starting on the back row, not doing hot laps and stuff. It was ended up being Nick Thompson in first, James Flynn in second, Jaden Danners in third, Anthony Johnson in fourth, Nico Piazza in fifth, and Mark Fernandez in sixth, all the way from Spain. Dustin McCarthy just getting edged out, Coleman Johnson out of there, Eddie from Germany, and Ethan Hutchinson. That's finishing up the top 10 for the expert LCQ or expert main event. I suspected Nick Thompson being the strongest one going into that race. He looked really good in his day qualifying and practice. He's fast, man. He's a savage. Actually, that I want to correct myself. They didn't take people from the day program. That was just for gate pick in those day program races, because if they took 6 out of the expert main event, there was already 10 guys pre-qualified. So that's a total of 8 guys on each line, 16-man gate.
So just going off that, I was just thinking it'd be pretty interesting to compare expert main event results with main overall pro results from the night to see like what order the experts were in. And Flynn got 10th overall for the night in pro. And you said he was second or third for expert main?
He was second in the expert main. So that is a pretty good that's like a bump. So he beat some of the guys that, were already pre-qualified in the
Yeah.
overall of the night.
Yeah,
So
totally.
really good. I think I would say James definitely leveled up, just being there in the expert main and then being there at the end of the night.
For sure. Paired with his racecraft of racing so much, that's got to be a big advantage too, coming from dudes that don't really race all that much or don't race EnduroCross or hard enduros that much.
Yeah. Another guy I'd like to mention is Jaden. I mean, Jaden hasn't really been on the radar in EnduroCross. He came last year, put a full season into it. I'm sure he'd been there years before. I don't know if he's ever put a full season in before, maybe just a couple of appearances. I think Jaden's like really good at going fast and motoing, so those kind of skills complemented him. He had really good starts. I think he might have got the whole shot that race.
Jumping too, I was watching a few laps and into it, like there's a few dudes rolling the jump. Like I think one of the laps, lap 2 or something, or lap 1, he was around Nico and a couple guys, and they were all rolling the finish line jump. And Jaden was the only one from like that mid pack to jump it, and he like passed Nico and another kid on it that lap. So
Yeah, so he's comfy out there, which is cool. So that's a level up for Jaden this season. Anthony Johnson's basically a young veteran now. He's been racing Girlcross for so long. Just happy to see him, make it into the night show and getting a chance to be pre-qualified, getting top 10 points. Go Piazza behind him in 5th place as a rookie season in the expert class. He's raced in Girlcross before. He's raced a A lot of hard enduro all over the world. I think he's even done super enduro. So good to see him qualifying in. And then Mark Fernandez, one of our guests from Spain. He's a junior world championship from super enduro last year and getting that last qualifying position to line up with the rest of the pros.
For sure. Super cool. All right, so going into Expert got wrapped up, Pro Moto 1.
We did hot laps. I'll give you a little quick on that. I mean, Johnny came out on top, super clean run. Guy looks like he's bunny hopping stuff that other guys aren't. He's riding that track like pump track, clean. I don't even think if
lot of Billy Bolt style going into that. Look like super sick, bunny hopping over the last couple rocks and logs, like really absorbing, like using his full body to absorb a lot of the bumps and rocks. So it definitely looks sick to be moving around that 450 so fast.
Yeah, if that is the case, if he's actually been able to adapt to some of Billy's technique, that's a good sign for everybody else. I mean, Johnny's a badass, but if anybody can, try and accomplish what Billy's doing and put it in, use it during the night show, then we're getting somewhere. Because I don't want to see Billy just smoking everybody forever.
You think he's got to be doing that, right? I mean, the guy Johnny like pretty much races right behind him every single round at the Super Enduros. Like he's got to be picking up on some of that stuff and seeing what Billy's doing.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely capable of it. It's just it's hard to imagine because I talk to guys and they're like, Billy's like not
So
human.
massive.
Like he's doing stuff that's like nobody else can do. But it's just cool to see moves that, remind you of Billy moves
Yeah,
happening out there with different riders. That's positive moving
totally.
forward. And, Billy, I'm sure would like to think and know that people are learning from it too, and he wants to battle.
Yep,
So
for sure.
I don't think if Johnny even made a mistake during that moto, that if he made one mistake, I still don't think that a mistake-free run from Tristan or Colton would have even closed in because he was just so dang smooth, making little time differences all over the course. So
I agree.
Colton came in second. I think that if I remember correctly, Colton maybe made one mistake out there, rolling into those mogul things, jumped in a little too far and almost took him out. Then had like two mistakes in his hot lap, which put him in third place, which I was still really impressed that he pulled off third with those two mistakes. I want to say it was like just the pipe and tires before the rock pile.
And in the rocks, I think he got a little bubbled up too.
That whole straightaway kind of did him in.
Yeah.
But still pulled it together for third place. And, that was setting the tone. The nerves were starting to get out of him. And then it was race time, or it was bet race time.
And then MG was fourth.
MG was fourth. Yeah, that's as far as I got on my list here right now.
So MG put a smoker down. First thing I found that he did differently from everyone else. We got a train going by. What I saw MG do that was super sick was like bunny hop, like wheelie tap those kind of whoopee, like mogul dirt bump things at the start of the lap. And he like skimmed through
Yeah.
all of them.
That's
Wheel
true.
tap, landed in a pocket of one and like jumped into like the kind of wagon wheel corner. Super sick.
I don't want to make too big of an assumption, but I would almost say that was like a two-stroke move that Max could pull there. Like just
Dude.
light on his feet, pop, 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 pop. That 300 power and some precision on his technique was able to help pull that off because you're right. Like I don't think anybody else ever did anything spectacular in there.
That's sporty. Another two-stroke move he was doing on that matrix on like the last third, like kind of like roller single that everyone was kind of wheeling down. Max was able to like apply that like a little two-stroke poppy power and like jump the third one to like wheelie or jump down to the bottom while everyone else was like hitting it in pretty high RPMs and like almost getting bucked maybe because just like the weight of the four-stroke motors or something.
Man, I think we had 3 two-strokes out there: Max, Petrie, and Flynn, all the Beta boys.
Braxton.
Braxton, yeah. So keep an eye out on the two-stroke boys for that two-stroke edge the rest of the season. There's a couple examples that Ryan just pointed out there that I'm on board with. I think two-stroke will give you an edge in certain sections, certain obstacles, and a little bit of technique.
One thing I saw, Cooper was definitely trying to throw down a heater, had a couple pretty good mistakes on like the first few obstacles, just like sliding out or getting a little sketchy. I think he pulled it together. I don't know what he got, but I think Cody got fifth.
So I think Cooper was sixth.
Uh-huh. somewhere around there. But watching the replay of it, we were like, I was like, holy smokes! Like he was totally sending it, and like it was pretty impressive how fast he was recovering like big mistakes, like, totally going for it. Like if he would have done everything clean, it would have been. I would be surprised if it wasn't the fastest time or second fastest time.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, he was a little wild on that hot lap, just trying to wrangle it back in. But
Yep,
again, like first round vibes, feelings, and stuff. I think really these guys are. We saw a
sure.
different side of them in the beginning of the night compared to like the last moto or two of the nights.
For sure. Cool.
I'll give a little shout out to the expert, the vet main event as well, if that's cool. These guys have a lot of them have put in some serious years in EnduroCross. Mitch Carval, it really was a stacked vet main event because Mitch is a badass rider, just kind of coming out of retirement, showing up, making the plan a week before, local race for him. He wins the thing. Wreck-It Ray Amos, legend in EnduroCross, hard enduro, off-road world. Spends a lot of time riding, working hard to improve his technique. He's got a track at his house. He trains all the time. Similar with Gavin McCarthy, who got third place. He's been riding endurocross for probably at least 10 years, maybe more. He's last year's vet champion. A couple other guys, like I know Tyler Kincaid, he's rode a ton of endurocross behind him. Tyler Smith, a few spots back there, rode a lot of endurocross too. So always excited to see everybody racing out there. Bunch of my friends.
Totally. Good group of guys in every class. Right on. So main event won, first moto, Tristan won, Johnny got third, Ryder got second.
Yeah, Tristan had a really sick start all the way from the outside gate pick. Colton lined up on the tight inside, had a nice jump on Johnny, but Johnny pulled him down that straight. But here come Tristan all the way from a wide gate, I think second to last on the outside, swooped around and controlled that race from there on, I think.
Yeah, I think Ryder was on his left and had the far left gate. And I watched it a few times on the live last night. It looked like Ryder and Tristan like both had like the best jump on the gate. And they were pretty side by side for like quarter of the way down. And then Tristan just totally pulled them. Like, I don't know if Ryder let off because he knew Tristan was going to get it, but they like Tristan out of nowhere kind of looked like he was just going for it. Like he just knew, like either like he was calling it and he just knew he was going to get the whole shot, but it almost looked like Ryder let off the gas to like not overshoot the corners or like to let him by so he can sneak in behind Tristan or something.
Yeah, I could see that championship winning mindset getting Tristan that start over Ryder.
Yeah.
That I saw this leaps and bounds with Haker every time he'd have another accomplishment in his career, and that just carry on. And it's those kind of things that put the wind in your sails and keep you performing at a high level when you're a champion.
Yeah, it just made me think like right off the bat, like, oh, like Tristan knew he was going to control this start. Like he was the guy to control it, and it looked like it worked out for him. So
Johnny ended up there pretty close to him, but had one pretty major mistake in the matrix section that seemed to cost him a lot of time.
Yeah, and like the first, I think that happened like third or fourth lap or something. Would you say so?
Yeah.
So those first couple laps going up to it, he was right behind. He was right behind Tristan the whole time, like right on Tristan's wheel. It seemed like I was a little worried filming Tristan, like, fuck me, mate. Like Johnny's just right there. Like Johnny's in a cush position. Like he knows what to do. But like you said, just Tristan has the pressure. He knows how to handle it. And Johnny made a pretty big mistake.
Yeah. And that it took him a little while to recover from. In the end of that moto, I'm pretty sure that Colton, Johnny, and Ryder were all really close when they came over that line. Tristan had a little bit of a buffer, but those next three were on top of each other. And I think Cooper was right behind them.
Colton got fourth.
Yeah, and then Cooper was in fifth.
Yeah, Cooper got fifth. I don't know who got sixth.
Nick Thompson was in sixth. Tim Apol was in seventh. Braxton was in eighth. Anthony Johnson in ninth. And Cody Webb in 10th. Rough moto for Cody, man. I was watching him every once in a while, and he did not look super comfortable, man. He was trying to push the pace and blowing a foot off the peg. And luckily, Cody's riding came around through the night. Another well-experienced guy, knows how to bring it all together.
Yeah, so Cody 10th, Max 11th, and James Flynn 12th.
Yeah, so tough one for Max for the first moto of the season.
Super tough. Yeah, after that,
just Max not where he wants to be.
No, and I'm just thinking, like, imagine how big of a head case that would have to be. Like, fuck, I just got smoked in the first race. I mean, what Max does is he just knows he can do better, and that's not what he could have done. He just knows that wasn't his speed, right? And so in his
Yeah.
mind, he's going into back, like he's going in like, no, fuck that. Like that wasn't me. Like that's not what I do. And having to like back up a way better result, like that's got to be tough to go back in and kind of just after getting smoked by 10 guys pretty much.
Yeah, luckily Max is, I think, one of the more mentally strong guys out there. He's not getting too
Definitely.
too bothered. Like, yeah, he was probably pissed when he got off the track and for the first 5 minutes being back in the pit, but he knows well to burn and turn, and that ain't gonna help you in the next race thinking about that shit.
Yep. 100%. And
So
and honestly with him and Cody too, like they're using the okay, cool, we'll use it to our advantage and get first row starts. You know, like now those
yeah,
guys have
for the
huge
next race, that's
opportunities.
true.
Now they have huge opportunities to put down a good run.
Yeah, the reverse grid start happens after. So yeah, Cody, Max, those guys were back up on the front. Flynn, which we'll talk about that moto here pretty soon. One thing I'd say about the first pro main event is that was the most tired those guys looked all night. And again, I think this is back to first round vibes. What their heart rate was during that race was probably higher than it was in the later races. And I think it has to do with the mental side of being the first moto of the night, wanting to show that you're the fucking man.
For sure.
And, this has set the tone for the season in the first race.
Yeah,
So
totally. I
boys
mean,
look cooked after that race.
dude, like, I mean, Tristan isn't usually the one to like show off or throw a fist or something unless it's like for a championship. But Tristan just standard jump, caught his breath, rolled back to the pits. I went back to get a little interview with him, and he had nothing to say. Like he was just all he said was he was tired, and it was okay. Like it was just he was kind of just cruising and trying to hold his position to survive.
Yeah. Yeah. Stay mistake free. Keep on
Mhm.
breathing. Be the man at the first moto.
Definitely didn't. He definitely wasn't acting like felt like he was the man, but I'm sure he felt good to kind of turn it around after that practice.
Oh yeah, he's in it for the championship. He's just checking the boxes all night long until that overall score comes.
Mm.
Um,
Pro Moto too.
Well, we had the amateur main event. This is just worth talking about because these guys are like, they show what it's like for most weekend warriors to get out there and get on the track. All right. So if you think that the main pro mains make this stuff look like fun and easy and stuff, hang out for an amateur main, see how this novice class looks out there. And that's probably what most of the weekend warriors around would look like trying to complete a lap around this track.
It's crazy because watching the amateurs on the track, it's total chaos, carnage. And then you're thinking like, wait a second, all of these guys that like are looking totally crazy would smoke me and like 90, probably like 80% of the people out on a trail ride or like an enduro ride. Like they're no joke riders, like they all can
Yeah. They
totally
like
rip.
riding technical stuff. This is
Yeah.
why they're out there too.
Yeah,
So
but it's just insane to think because you see them in the stadium and you're like, "Oh my gosh," like you just don't think of like how they would look like on a normal trail. But all of these dudes are very high caliber racers or riders.
it's good to have them out there. To show everybody what's up. After them, race 5 was the intermediate main. I like talking about these guys because I think this
Word.
is like when we're thinking about the future of our sport, these are some of the kids and dudes that. We saw a really awesome showing out of the German kid, Max Effelman. I think he's like
Mhm.
14 years old,
I
or
heard
maybe
13, I
13.
thought.
Yeah, and he was riding awesome out there, man. His technique was super good, especially for a young kid. Pretty mistake free. Had a couple
Mhm.
of little hiccups in the beginning, but managed to pull off the win. And listening to his interview, I think that guy's got a good future
Yep.
in racing, and hopefully we keep seeing. He did mention that he'll be around for the whole championship, so that's cool.
Mhm.
Cooper Stevens led the whole thing until the last lap. That's when Max got him. I don't really know Cooper Stevens, number 12, I believe. Cole Clarkson, worked his way up to third. Cole's been riding a lot. He is in his second year of riding EnduroCross, I'm pretty sure. He rode
Yep.
junior last year, did really good. I see that kid improving year round because I see him at the hard enduros, and he's
Yep.
growing up fast and getting better fast. So nice to see Cole up there as well.
Totally.
Then Pro Moto 2, unless you got
Yep.
anything else on those intermediates.
Just Cole's doing good too. Like you said, second year, he's finally getting bigger. It looked like he had a big growth spurt this hard enduro season. So hopefully we can see him continue improving on this high streak that he's kind of got. It was pretty sick to see his comeback in that in that race because he got not a very good start, got stuck in the rocks with a bunch of people that were in front of him that kind of piled up, and I think at once he was like pretty dang far back, and then I kind of tuned out of the race, and then was talking to his dad again towards the end of it, and he was in third, and we were like, "Whoa, what?" Like I didn't know he was in third place. He's got a really good head on his shoulders and good racecraft. So it's cool to see that with the young kids. I think that's like the strongest, most clear sign for a successful future in racing is just being smart and racing smart. Like you saw with Max, how professional he acted in his interviews and kind of how professional of like a race he kind of drove himself in. Like no bad crashes, stayed cool. Did you see he actually stopped before the tire stack because there was a bottleneck or like a dude kind of floundering? He came to a complete stop and waited for the dude was like out of the way or had already fallen so he could pick a line to go past him without just like running into the back of him.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity for an intermediate rider to panic and make a bad decision.
And go from second place to third place to last.
Front tire stuck in tractor tire.
Yeah.
Moto over.
For the rest of the race. Those poor guys. But yeah, no, that was good. So, sick to see Pro Moto 2.
Yeah, reverse grid. Spice things up.
Our boy Jaden, classic hair scramble style, got the whole shot.
That was when Jaden's good start came in. That must be the one I was thinking. I think I even took a screenshot or a photo of it on my phone. I dissect these starts. I see which guy's doing what, coming out where. I mean, Haker's talking to me about it nonstop after the races and stuff. And so I want to see it from TV perspective than trackside. And yes, Jaden pulled a sick hole shot. Another thing about the start on that one, Colton was lined up behind Max, so I was watching both those guys. Max kind of creeps on the gate. You can see it. His back tire, when that 30-second board turns, it's behind everybody else's back tire. Max is on the edge of that clutch. That bike's creeping, and that's something I always saw Mike Brown do. Worked out pretty good for Max. I think he came out of that start in third place.
Yeah, like him and Cody were pretty high up in it.
Colton behind him did not anticipate that Max was going to be lurching and actually took a jump when Max started lurching and then paused out because he jumped and had to like reset himself. And by that time, it was too late because as soon as Max started creeping, Colton thought the gate dropped. He's watching Max's back wheel. So that was interesting observation from my perspective on the trackside there.
Super.
Yeah, Cody was in second.
Speaking of creeping, Tristan was in like fourth by the end of the straightaway, it looked like.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture here of the guys just before they made the 180 into the first corner. And Tristan is definitely the first guy from the second line. He's right in between, looks like Flynn and Gersten behind Cody. And then Ryder is just to his left coming around the outside.
So
from that second line as well.
Tristan was already in line with Max and James, who was on the.
His front wheel is about their foot peg. So Cody's in second place. Tristan's wheel is up against Cody's and coming around the first corner with the pack of the third, fourth place guys.
That's pretty sick. That's a sick start.
Yeah, championship. That's why he's got the number one, things like that.
So then who actually kind of Mark had the lead on that kind of going into the rocks and over on the first kind of corner, right?
Could have been because in this picture, he's all the way on the inside. I know that by the second corner, I think Cody was in the lead.
It was Mark who's on the Riehu, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think so maybe it was him and Cody going through the rocks, and then the inside line underneath like the sideways telephone pole, Mark slid out, fell, Tristan ran into the back of him, and Max did too, because it was Tristan and Max was on Tristan's tail. Tristan passed Max through the rock, and then Mark fell right in front of Tristan. Tristan ran into him, Max ran into Tristan. That was kind of like a pile up.
That inside line underneath those telephone poles, that was a slippery line. You could see the dirt was shiny. Saw a lot of guys push front in there during the night, and a lot of guys actually went down there too. But yeah, that was the first setback in Tristan's second moto there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of people got past both of them there.
But Cody was out front at that point and was holding down first place for quite a while in that moto.
Yeah, and then I think just Johnny started just creeping harder and harder and harder and worked his way up to the front.
Yep. Yeah, and then I think he got Tristan in the Matrix, if I remember correctly, and
yes,
stayed ahead of him. but they were dicing hard. I mean, they both got Cody on the same lap, I believe, and Cody knew he didn't have the pace. He wasn't trying to hold him up big time, but he was trying to race his own race. They both got Cody in one lap, and then they kept just dicing. Cody stayed pretty tight with him that moto, so that was
But
nice
yeah,
to see, and I'm sure that felt good for Cody.
yeah. So Tristan passed Cody. Tristan was leading for a bit. Johnny got him in the matrix, and then Johnny honestly kind of kept pulling away from Tristan. Like it didn't really seem like Tristan gave Johnny too much of a fight. Like it almost looked like Johnny had way better speed in after passing Tristan. I don't know if Tristan fell off. Like obviously that was the race where they finished like side by side. So Tristan kind of caught him at the end. But for it seemed like the second half of the race, like Johnny was way on him. And maybe Johnny kind of knew he had a good lead and could kind of back it down to a safer pace. But
Yeah, I don't know for sure, but lappers could have played a role for better or for worse. They were playing a role all night about halfway through these
yeah.
motos. Even, I'll talk about that more in the third moto, but I noticed Colton was coming from the back. Like I said, he had that bad start, and when he would get to lappers, when he was later in that moto, that was helping him out a lot. Colton's pretty good at moving left to right. He was feeling very comfortable on his bike, moving side to side on the tracks. Lappers did help him out, but they might have done the opposite for Johnny when he was and helped Tristan close that gap as well.
Mm-hmm.
Tough being in the lead, right? You surprise the lappers. They're like, oh shit, the leaders are here now. And so the guy that's in first usually gets a little worse than the guy that's in second.
Yep, for sure. Third place was Colton.
In Pro Moto 2?
Oh, no, sorry. That was Moto 3 I was looking at.
Yeah. Pro Moto 2, third would have been Cody. He held that position pretty close.
Oh, yeah. And then
Max got fourth, much more where he wants to be. He was stoked. Happy to see it. Ryder.
Second.
Ryder fifth, which really good for Ryder. I mean, this is pretty good for staying consistent on the night. I did think that Ryder looked tired. I was a little disappointed that Colton couldn't catch him there. Colton was reeling him in, make a mistake, lose that ground that he gained. I think Colton was getting a little cooked, pushing through the pack like he was, and Ryder was doing his best he could, but Ryder and Colton kind of were on their own little islands, back there in fifth and sixth coming into the finish.
Well, I'm sure
Petrie in seventh.
Yeah.
James Flynn in eighth. Nice for Flynn. Staying in that top 10. 10 ninth. Cooper 10th. Yeah. So riders being consistent so far.
I think it's so funny how EnduroCross doesn't have a Riehu logo to put in front of Braxton and Marks and everyone else is on a Riehu's bike.
Oh, Braxton on the Fantic, yeah.
Dude, it says other like right next to it. Like they can't even it's not very hard to pull a logo and put a logo in there.
That's why you're the man, Ryan. When EnduroCross is mine, you're going to be in charge of that.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I saw Riehu banner up on the wall too, like they're a series sponsor. And the racers aren't even getting the respect or credentials they need that they're deserving.
Well, when they listen to the podcast, for sure they're going to update it, man.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. We're just helping make the sport better.
Mm-hmm. It would look a lot cleaner too, from a viewer's perspective. Okay. So what was after Pro Moto 2?
Club class. I don't really know how this works. In my experience, club class was always like people that were from a local club got to enter this class, and it was like another basically novice class, but against the peers from the local club. But there was people in this from Canada. There was people in this from Idaho.
The way they kind of explained it on the live was it's like for local people or just novice riders that have no experience on an EnduroCross track, have never ridden an EnduroCross track, but like wanted the challenge of entering. And it's kind of like a safe environment, like safe class of everyone like in the same boat where you're not going to mess anyone up. Like the intermediate class, like all those dudes are like riding EnduroCross tracks pretty regularly with a lot of the top guys. This club novice class is just kind of for people that have never probably ridden a track before.
If that's the case, they're going to have to work on their vetting process, because the guy that won definitely has rode an EnduroCross track before. He had some sick form. And the guy who got fourth, I know personally, Tegan Warnick, and he was training with Max in the off season.
Yeah,
so
I spent a day with him. But also, if it's for local people, Tegan's a local Idaho Falls guy, so maybe he was under the
It was in Arizona, man. The race was in Arizona. Tegan's from Idaho.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking of Idaho Falls.
The guy that won from Canada, I'm pretty sure. And I
was thinking of Idaho Falls.
He thanked baby Jesus on the podium. I remember that. He had his body armor on the outside of his jersey. I remember that. And he had some nice trials form. He must have been a trials rider, but
That's
we'll get
old
to the
school.
bottom of that in future episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, Tegan gets the hall pass for doing club class this weekend, but not again.
He's a youngin', and you know what? Tegan pushed his bike across the finish line to get fourth place. He probably could have pushed it across in third, but when he realized, like third place, I saw Tegan pushing his bike off the track, and then third place
What
come
happened?
around, and something happened in that tire pile before the finish line,
So
and
was
his
he
chain
pushing
came
off?
off or something.
So was he pushing his bike off the track like that he was going to DNF, and then he saw checkered flag third place and he was like, "Oh wait, like I could get fourth?"
Yes, and lost third, pushed his bike over the log, and pushed it over the finish line and got fourth.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Good for
See,
him.
EnduroCross is action in all classes, man.
Dude, imagine how fired up he is now, like knowing how much better he could do. Like if that didn't happen. That's
Yeah.
just the fuel for him.
Yeah, yeah. So that was cool. That was exciting. After those guys was the junior main event. This is kids that are 17 years and younger. I think they went all the way down to 12 years old in that class. There was 2 or 3 kids on 80s. That kid Max from Germany eventually won that race. I think he got a good start, led that thing, ripped it to the finish. There was good battle going. Oh no, I feel like Kale got into first a couple times,
Yeah,
and
no, Kale and
Cole kept him honest.
Max, and I'm not sure what happened. They didn't really show it. I tried to watch it a couple times. It looked like Max was up there, Kale was up there, Cole was up there. I don't think Cole was ever leading, but I'm pretty sure Kale passed Max. I know Max got stuck in the tires. Kale passed him at one point, and then I don't know where there must have been a kind of some drama, but I think Max ended up getting the win, and Cole Clarkson got second, and Kale was kind of far back. Do you have
Yeah,
the results?
no, I don't for that one. Not handy right now, but I know Kale eventually ended up in second, Max in first, Kale in second, and Cole in third.
I don't think
And I
Kale
think
got second, did he? Let me look at his Instagram. I know he posted something today.
I had a hard time with the results. I was looking at them. The best results I could come up with were
Oh,
off
wait,
of
no, he
the
got
live.
third. Sorry, he got third.
Kale did, or Kale or Cole? So Cole got second.
I think Cole got second. Did Cole get second intermediate or third? Because I know he got a 3 and a 2. Okay, so Kale got third in one of the races. He didn't state which race it was. Cole sent me a photo of his trophies.
Cole
But of
got
course,
third in the intermediate.
okay, yeah, they don't say. So
I have that score here.
So he got third in intermediate and second in what are you calling it? Junior?
Yeah, I got it written down here. Max in first, Cole in second, Kale in third in the
Okay.
junior class, and almost got. Oh yeah, Kale left the door open on the last corner, and Ben tried shoving it in there, and they both went down. And Kale ended up in third, and this other German kid named Ben ended up in fourth. That was a pretty exciting finish.
So yeah. The guy set up Kale, but then Kale kind of made it out clean, and the guy got taken out. The guy who tried to set him up got taken out.
Mm-hmm. They both stalled it out over the log. I mean, this is a good point for this junior class. Is there's like these kids are learning every single time they're on the track. They're going to learn from the mistakes. Kale going wide, basically leaving the door open, leaving Ben no option but shoving it in there on the inside of the last corner. Kale's going to learn from that. He's a young kid. He races good. He won't forget, hopefully.
Yep. Has the technique to regroup, quickly start the bike, get over the log, and save the race, save the position.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So awesome. Another group of the future kids of EnduroCross.
Yep.
The future of EnduroCross. So Pro Main 3 was up next, and we were all curious to see how it's going to go. The nerves were high, but I think everybody had the biggest nerves have already gone away in the first few motos.
For sure. So how did that start? I think
Ryder.
What? Ryder. Yeah, Ryder got the whole shot.
The little bunny rabbit just hopped over that gate. I replayed that start a few times. It looked like he was taking off before the gate was even dropping. And he was, rah!
And then bunny hop in classic bunny rabbit form over the first outside tire around the first corner, like that outside line tire stack where there was like 2 tires in the middle, 1 tire on each side. Everyone's like kind of like rear tire like splattering and carrying it. He like fully bunny hopped the tire and set it down, made a lot of time on whoever was on the inside. And then I think someone on a beta was behind him. Like I think James was behind Ryder or something. I don't know. I think it was a beta, but they like totally splattered it, like standard, lost speed. So comparing that to Ryder, like super sick, classic bunny hop.
Yeah, that was smooth. I think that Johnny pulled a similar move in his hot lap, but only in his hot lap, and that was pretty clean by Ryder. Again, man, Ryder leveling up from last season for sure.
I remember Johnny was on the inside of that because it's in Max's GoPro footage. Johnny went super far inside and had this super sick, like feet right on the pegs, like balls to the toes on the pegs to like wheelie over the log and set the rear tire on the log, feet still on the pegs, like weight forward to like drift the rear tire down the log a little bit to set him up straight to like get a good straight drive after the log. Like Tristan, and then you can see Tristan was next to him, foot
Yeah.
down, like plant over the log. You're still landing at that angle, so you can't like accelerate as fast. Like where Johnny did like a sick like wheel slide back tire to drive straight really quick.
Yeah, and then we had the stage was set. We had, Ryder up front. I don't know who it was, Max or somebody in there. I
Yeah,
think it was Max.
Max was like fourth in there, fifth or fourth in there.
Johnny and Tristan in the mix, and
Yep.
Colton was back there. I think Colton got swallowed up by the second line a little bit off of that start. We're pretty sure he spun on the gate, the front line pulled away from him, and then he was back there in the second line
It
coming around the
sounds
first
like
corner. So he had
it
some
sounds
wood to top as well.
it sounds like you guys got to do something about those starts. Like, is he just getting that much wheel spin in first gear, or you think it was just a bad kind of unlucky starting on wood or something? Or
I think it's a combination, and I think that the first gear thing definitely is playing a role in it. Everybody else started in second gear. I'm pretty sure Cody even took his shifter off because he's so confident in only riding in second gear the whole race. And then, yeah, just kind of, I would say just being a little rusty, just getting the juices flowing again. And I've seen Colton start. I think a lot of good starts comes from up here more than just as much as it does in your technique. You got to be confident. You got to want to own it, like you said about Tristan in that first moto.
yeah,
And I think my guy just got to keep racing. Like I said, he's the least riding race. He's done the least riding this season out of anybody on that front line. So get his juices flowing again, and we got a couple of things we're working on behind the scenes as well to help with that. Also,
perfect. All right,
only
so
250F, I think. Him and Coop, a little down on power,
Cody,
and yeah.
Cody too.
Oh, Cody on the 280 or something,
Yeah, 300 or
283, I
something.
believe.
So did he
Yeah.
actually have his shifter off? You
Yeah,
think?
yeah, yeah. After the first moto, he
Listen,
came back and asked Gator and said, "How do you feel about taking my shifter off?" And Gator's like, "What?" You know, and he's like, "Well, yeah, it screwed me on my hot lap, and I clicked it into first, and it threw me off, and like we're just gonna go without it." In fact, Colton and I did that at some point early in his
you told me
career.
that.
We pulled the shifter off, yeah, and it was fine. In
I
second gear
know
only.
Max did that 2 years ago on his gas and was chilling with it all season.
Yeah, I mean, I think Colton could get away with it in first gear this year. Again, it's just the transmission is so different in that Cowie that it's making it really hard for Coop and Colton to find the happy place on the gearing.
You think he can do some massaging in that gearbox?
Maybe with a couple of months notice before the season, but not with a racing happening weekend after weekend
No.
consecutively. We got anything like that. I would want to put a serious amount of time on his practice bike before we bring it to the racetrack.
I know what
Confidence
you
that
mean.
it's going to survive. Everything they do on the racetrack compared to the practice track is significantly more intense and harder on the bike. I'll just say that right now. And you saw the boys changing stuff after first practice because just even in practice, first time of the year in the race situation, it's more intense than a race simulation during the practice weeks leading up.
You see any parts or any like mechanicals go down or stuff getting worn out? I wasn't really paying attention to too much, but maybe you saw something hanging out in the IRC tent.
No, I don't think I can say any mechanicals. Anthony Johnson derailed a chain in his second moto,
Oh
first or
yeah.
second moto, I think. No, nothing major mechanically. I mean, 6 minutes plus a lap, but like I just got done saying, the stuff's intense. The track is pretty much built to test the strength of your bike and your components. Everybody's pretty much got a good understanding of what it takes to make your bike hold up in EnduroCross now, whether it's linkage guards and SXS skid plates or bulletproof designs, rotor guards and whatnot. A lot of good protection already built in on the bikes before the racing even starts to help prevent that from happening.
For sure. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. All right, so back
So
to Moto 3. You want to go back to Moto 3 or anything to add?
yeah. No,
All
for
right.
sure. It was
So we're
action. I mean,
so we talked pretty heavy on the first half of the first lap. We got Johnny up there, Tristan, Ryder, and Max, it seemed like.
yeah. And Tristan's race kind of started to come apart. I know there was one incident, like a small bobble. I think it was in that flat corner with the telephone pole standing up. Tristan got bumped into somebody, lost some time. And then a major one, oh, Nick Thompson was ahead of him
Okay,
after that.
yeah, so he fell on the rocks.
Thompson fell into the rock.
No,
No, Thompson fell in the Matrix.
Tristan fell
Oh,
on the
okay.
rocks. I think Tristan and Cooper got tangled up in the rocks. Like, I think maybe Cooper was trying to pass Tristan or something, but I was watching from Max's GoPro. Max passed both of them because they were tangled up and like Tristan fell in the rocks.
Tristan fell in the rocks, and then on the same lap, Thompson ran into the back. Thompson went down right in front of Haker. Haker basically ran Thompson over while right after Thompson went down.
Yep.
Thompson's bike was pointed sideways in the Matrix,
So
and
he goes to
Thompson went to pull out,
right off
right
the
out of the
trail.
Matrix
Yep.
and rode right into Tristan with full momentum coming at him. And then that was like Tristan in almost last at that point.
Like fully T-bone Tristan, broken visor. I don't know if he did the visor in the rocks or that, but that was a big one that sent him back pretty far.
That one looked like it took him a little while to recover.
Yeah.
And flustered him a bit, and physical and mental recovery was happening there. In the
Because
meantime,
that set him back to like 8th or 9th place.
at least.
He had a lot of wood chopping to do.
Yeah, and again, there's a reason that guy's got the number one in the plate because he kept working his way through that pack, visor-less, got the full Chase Sexton look going out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Johnny quickly moved into the lead after that happened.
Yep.
And started checking out.
Cruising.
I'd like to say I was watching TV. I saw Johnny at least 2 laps use the log on the left side of the rock pile for his front wheel. And I think if old Auntie Cullinan was at that race, there would have been a little bit of a dispute afterwards on the legalities of his approach in the rock garden.
Okay, front wheel on the rocks that holds the rocks in place.
Yep. You'll see at least 2 laps on the flow.
Totally saw that. So I was watching one where Johnny got a huge sprint through the rocks and made up a ton of time on someone. And it was on that far right line. So you're saying he had a front tire or both tires on that log?
No, just a front tire. And it was on the left when I saw it on the 2 laps on the downhill side of the rocks.
Yep.
And it may not have even been completely on purpose. It may have been like he drifted over there. But when you saw it happen the second time, you're like, hey, again, that's where, the team members up in the stands taking the videos come down and make calls on that kind of stuff from my experience.
Wow.
And if I had seen it during the race, I don't think I would have had any option but to say something. I don't like playing by those kind of rules, but rules are rules.
I know what you mean. When I was editing someone's video, I saw that and I was like, holy fuck, Johnny just pulled in the rocks. And I didn't think of that, but it makes sense of how much speed he got going through them. It was definitely a significant advantage.
Again, without that, Johnny was still riding the best that moto, had the best position.
Not like it's going to take anything away from him.
Yeah, I don't want to make any accusations, but it's right there. Can't see it and not talk about it. So
also, you would know more than me in this, but as kind of a spectator, the log's part of that log's kind of part of the course. I mean, seems kind of fair game, speaking non-bias.
I think, well, that would have been, Johnny's defense is that whether or not had been stated, but from my perspective, that is out of bounds. That is a boundary, and you're supposed to stay on the rocks in those situations. I've seen it used before. You'll see it happen a lot in the amateur class. There's a lot of funny business that goes on in those novice races and maybe a little bit less in the intermediate races. But as you get up into the higher classes, you're going to be under the microscope more and have to play by those rules. And it's the EnduroCross series responsibility to
See that.
make sure those rules are clear and put up, maybe those yellow Acerbis markers or whatever on the
Yeah.
edges of the track to indicate this is the limit. But if you talk to anybody in the top 10, they'll probably tell you the same thing I'm telling you. The log is the boundary. You're not
Yeah.
supposed to use the log.
And like you said, it should be like EnduroCross being the judge and making the calls, not you, a mechanic who doesn't want to make that call, or you, a team manager who like necessarily doesn't want to be that guy. Like you said, you got other stuff to focus on.
Yeah, and from my seat, my spot where I was standing on the floor, I
Yeah.
can't see over there anyways.
Yeah.
So Ryder ended up second behind Johnny.
Yep. That was sick.
Ryder, the performance of his one of his best performances in his endurocross career. I don't think Ryder even landed on a podium last year, so pretty happy to see our guy.
I think I think he got a couple thirds or seconds. Or maybe oh, you're
I don't
talking
think
about
he got a
podium
podium
overall.
last year. Yeah,
Oh.
like an overall podium. So that second place last night landed him third on the podium. I do think there was I don't know if the math exactly, but I think there was a chance if Colton had passed him for second place, Colton ended up third in that moto, that Colton would have taken that third overall position.
Well, Ryder
I don't
beat
know.
him
Again,
outright
I don't know
straight.
for sure.
Yeah.
So Ryder kept a gap on him. Colton again, like had a pretty bad start, was able to work his way up into third, so that was nice to see. And then Tristan got all the way up to fourth. Was that
No,
correct?
Tristan was fifth. Max was fourth.
Max was fourth. So okay, let's note Max, like super good night for Max. I mean, other than his first moto getting 11th, put it in the top 5 the next 2 motos. And, I think at bottom line, that's where Max wants to be, is at least in the top 5, reaching for podiums.
Yeah, definitely a pretty sick spot to be in after round 1. There's 6 other guys that all wish they could have been in that 5th place overall spot.
Yeah. I mean, Tristan was one of them.
For that race especially. So yeah, Tristan ended 5th in that, which costed him the
But good
win
on him
tonight.
for having such a rough motor. Dude, it's so hard to keep your cool, keep your heart rate right for 6 minutes plus a lap. And this racing was so intense. This is some of the deepest field we have. And yeah, there's contenders.
For sure.
Great on Max to be up there. Great on Tristan to be up, or Ryder to be up there. Awesome for Tristan to work his way back up. Colton getting 4th overall. That's not where he wants to be. But
dude,
it's
for a bike Colton jumped on, I don't know how long ago, maybe a month or 2, and that you've been touching for a week. Pretty sick to get a 4th.
Yeah. He's happy with his riding. He's happy with the comfortability on the bike. We're just gonna try and work on a few of the weak points and get back out there for another one. So Johnny, first overall in the night, definitely the strongest rider on the night. Had things going in his favor. Overall practice to the last moto, cleanest riding. He looked like he was riding a pump bike out there, like
Totally. He's looking good.
flowing. Yeah.
One interesting point I kind of thought of: Johnny, Tristan, Ryder, and Max. Those 4 were in the top 5. Colton's the exception, but all 4 of those guys are on the same bike, pretty much same bike and program as they were last year. Sure, Johnny was on the 250, only raced a couple rounds, but those are the 4 dudes that kept the same bike, the same sponsors, the same team, like didn't go through anything new.
Yeah.
Which those 4 guys were
that's
also
worth noting.
the best. But like for a guy like Ryder being on a super familiar bike, program, team, I think that made him a bit more comfortable and confident coming into this round, coming into the season.
Yeah, I'd say, Johnny probably made some gains on his bike from last year, but with that being, with like what you said,
Same
definitely
team.
2 years on the same bike.
Yeah.
Tristan made maybe a little bit of gains on his bike, but not as much as Johnny. Ryder, I know in the off season, put in some work, did some testing, and feels way better on his bike than he did a month ago. Colton, he's making gains every time he goes on his bike. MG, just
same team.
Bet he's riding his bike just like it was last year. Minor changes. He's just grinding.
Yep. Pumping that.
He's running now.
He's running now. We can't be giving away his secrets on his podcast.
Frick, that was the biggest difference I heard in his program. I'm running.
Dude, so funny. I was like, so how much did you run? Like, I thought you told me you went running once. Like, he told me
when
he
I was
went
doing
to the
track walk with him, people told him he looked skinnier. I don't know if I noticed it, but
yeah, he told me, I swear he told me he went to the track to run once. I was like, how many times did you run? He's like, I'm like, I thought you ran once. I'm like, could that help that much? Like, maybe I should run once. But he was
it's
like,
more
no,
than last year, Ryan.
Huh?
It's more than last year.
Yeah, no, he's running. He said he was running a lot.
Yeah. Well, yeah, whatever.
that diesel turning.
So Tristan came away holding that, still getting that second overall, staying in that points chase. That he knows he's in it for the long game. He's smart. He chopped the wood, like we said, to get back up into a position to get second overall that moto. And then Ryder was third overall. Like I
Colton
said,
fourth.
I think Ryder was probably our biggest improvement from last year to this year. I'm going to say that right now. Like,
Sure.
I don't think Ryder got an overall podium last year. Wish I would have confirmed this beforehand, but I'm pretty sure. So that's a big improvement. Yeah, and then Colton fourth.
Colton fourth, Max fifth, Cody sixth, Cooper Abbott seventh, Braxton eighth, Tim ninth, and Flintstone 10th. Anything to touch on those guys?
Braxton, I think that's worth mentioning. I mean, we'll give Cody a attaboy for getting all the way up to sixth on the night after having a really bad first moto and a not so good last moto.
Yeah.
Cooper Abbott trying, figuring out the new bike, fifth, 10th, seventh. Braxton, this is our youngest guy up there, I think, in the top 10. And he's on a big progression right now, riding a different bike. This is 3 years in a row, 3 different bikes. So good to see him, still, staying in that
relevant
path of progression,
honestly, on the list,
and riding a different bike every year.
Yeah.
A lot of growing going on. Nice kid, hard worker, and I'm happy to see him getting an 8th overall. Tim Pole, he's always there. It looks like if he'd done better in that last moto, got a little frustrated, he would have been in a better overall position. But Tim, I believe, has made a bit of a level up. He was on it all day, good times all day, and just, needs to clean it up a little bit. And then James Flynn, I think, a 10th overall, I can't say for sure, but that's got to be one of his better finishes in a pro main event, a night of racing. So good for him too.
Super. Well, right on. Hopefully we'll see what happens this next weekend. It's crazy because there's like 6 dudes who could win. All these results could be totally like almost flipped backwards.
Yeah.
It's not really like hard enduro where it's pretty, you can almost predict it. Even with, this is just so skewed, like anything can happen. So we'll just see what happens this weekend with 2 rounds.
Cody, I think, has more to give.
For sure.
For sure. I think Hager has more. And I think Max is going to be a thorn in these guys' side. I mean, again, no offense to Max, but he's not been a winner very many times, so he's not typically your guy, one of your top pick guys. He's just so consistent. He's strong. He's probably the best he's ever been in his career right now.
Yeah.
In EnduroCross, Ryder as well. I didn't even put Ryder in that top 4 in my pre-race pick, and look at him. He got third and showed that he's somebody to be dealt with as well.
Dude, Cooper's trying to make some money. Cooper's probably hungrier than ever now, like not probably having a comfy factory paycheck like he's had for the last few years.
There's got to be something, some extra emotional feeling that these guys have. Cooper built his bike. I talked to him and Cody about it. Cody, CM Parts is his main sponsor. Cody's there, mechanic on his bike, but Cody and me are in a pretty similar program with our guys. Colton built his bike. I just looked it over. Cooper built his bike, chose the parts, found his sponsors, put his program together, and Cody's there to support him and keep a second set of eyes on things and knows his guys well. So I think that there's extra emotional motivation for guys like Cooper and Colton this year to do good and show that, hey, I can put my own program together and do better, as good or better than I did with this factory sport helps. A lot of pride on the line, a lot of swinging things out there, and it's going to be exciting this year.
Yep, we'll see what happens. Well, we're at an hour and 20, so that was a pretty dang good talk, I'd say. Hopefully we can do the same thing if everyone likes it this time next week.
Yeah, give us some comments on what you'd like to see differently. I mean, I think it's definitely worth touching on these other races that happened in the night, giving a little spotlight to these amateurs, and then dissecting the pro races a little more in depth. And, we're here. If anybody wants to sponsor us, me and Ryan, we're definitely down with a sponsor for this podcast. We'll give Max a little bit of a cut, but, for giving us this platform and letting us do this podcast on his rig. And hopefully it's something we keep going for you guys. I won't be at the next round, but I'll be watching. I'm going to be at the Coal Cracker Hard Enduro in Pennsylvania, put on by the reading off-road trail riders and the Roar Club, and then I'll be back for the following round 3 of EnduroCross and the remainder of them for the season.
You mean round 4, 5, 6, because Idaho's 2 and 3.
You got it.
Yes, sir.
Round 4, 5, and 6, yeah.
Right on, Josh. Good talking. I'll catch up with you next week after the Hot Enduro and the EnduroCross.
Right on, brother. We'll bust this thing out a little earlier next week for everybody that's listening and watching.
Yep. See ya.
Right on. Cheers.